What it do, guys, gals, and gazebos? Today, we're going to be going over the AFC South and predicting the records for each team this year. And today might as well be a holiday because there was football on television today. Might have been preseason, it might have been a bad game, and it might have been the Cowboys versus the Steelers. But it was football. And let me give you a rundown before we get into it. The way I do this is I give teams a rating from 1 to 4. I give them a 0 if I think they have absolutely no chance of winning. But 1 to 4. 1 is associated with 10 clicks, so if I give them a 1, I'm going to be doing the trigger of 10 clicks for a second afterwards. If I give a team a 2, which is a toss-up, a 1 is unlikely to win, in my opinion. A 2 is a toss-up, and a 2 is going to be my rings. And 3 is going to be a bit different. It's normally scissors, but today we're water in a glass. And then a 3 is the likely win, obviously. 4 is good straight flexing, I guess. At the end of the season, or at the end of me going over the team, I tally up all their numbers and all their wins or loss predictions, and I tally up obviously the number, and I write it down. I give them all a point value, and I give them all a season win prediction now. I can tell you what I think is going to actually happen in the division. Let's get into it. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. Week 1 for Jacksonville. We're going over Jacksonville this time. Jacksonville has. They had the number 1 overall pick, and they wisely spent it on Trevor Lawrence. They have a new quarterback. Gardner's good. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Gardner. I think he's got a really good intermediate ball. I just think his deep ball is like hit or miss. And he's not Trevor Lawrence. But he's going to be traded somewhere in the middle of the season. He's probably going to get like a 4th round pick for him, a 3rd round pick, which is pretty good for a backup quarterback, I guess. It might get a little worse than that. Might be a 5th. The team on offense is really good. Their biggest question, in my opinion, is offensive line. Tackles, most notably, because their guard play was pretty good last year, as far as I remember, and their center's okay. I think Linder is his name. I might be wrong. Tackles could use work. The running back situation is good. James Robinson's the number 1 undrafted free agent Pro Bowl last year. They just drafted Etienne in the 1st round, a little high, but I guess it's like around where he was going to go anyway. If what's his name? Hold on, Najee Harris. If Najee Harris was going to go in the 1st round, like he went a few picks after, and they were going for a Tony-like player, Kadarius Tony-like player, I mean, I guess that's... I think if anyone's going to reach for Travis Etienne, it should have been Jacksonville, because one, they had 2 first-round picks, and their other first-round pick was in that same backfield throughout like 2-3 years at college, so that's familiarity with your new star quarterback. That makes his transition so much easier to the NFL, which probably makes him better, faster. Also, he's fast as heck. And then tight end needs a little work there too. Receivers, DJ Chark's he's a number 1 receiver. I think he knows it. I just think he needed the right opportunity to do it, because they were kind of backwashing him last year. It was weird. Last year was weird. They brought in Glenn and Tank for the number 1 overall pick because they were like, Gardner's too good. DJ Chark's a number 1 receiver. They brought in Marvin Jones Jr. They brought him in. He's a phenomenal number 2. And then they have Laviska Shenault, who they drafted in the second round last year, who's a guy, 6'1", 230, 4'6", something like that, 4'5", 4'5", I think it was. Dude's a freak. Get him some route running, get him a good quarterback, and honestly, look at that offense. That offense looks really good, especially with if they do the right scheming. That offense could be really good really early. However, that defense is suspect. You look at the defensive line, and you've got Josh Allen, Taven Bryan. They also drafted Caleb Chason last year, who he could grow. He's young, like I said, he just drafted. But he was bad last year. He was bad. Yeah. They also need more help interior. Even Brian's not a world under by any means. Second level, the linebackers. Okay. Miles Jack's phenomenal. I feel like they had somebody else there. I'm forgetting. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody right now. I feel like their play is okay. They're a good linebacking core. I know I'm missing somebody right now. But even if that person I'm forgetting is less than stellar, less than par, less than even good, Miles Jack makes up for it a little bit. And then in the secondary, that's where you get a real mixed bag. Because, you look at the safety issues. Who's their safety? I forget the one safety's name on the roster that I actually know. Con. Whatever. Their corners, though. The corners look really good. Pretty good. They drafted C.J. Henderson last year. He's looked good, not stellar, not great. He's looked good, but that's more than that's what you can ask for a first-round cornerback. And then on the other side, they just paid pretty big money to Shaquille Griffin. I can't remember. I think it's Shaquille Griffin. I might be wrong. I feel like that's wrong. The corner, he was in Seattle. He was cornerback. His brother is the linebacker who played with only one hand. But I feel like I'm saying his name. The cornerback of the Griffins, very good corner. So, like I said, the corners are good. The safeties aren't. Okay. Sure. Now, that was my way too long spiel on the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you were still here, and I haven't made hardly any trigger noises, I love you. Thank you for finding my voice this entertaining. Let's get it on. Week 1 at the Texans. That's a dub. How much of a dub? That's a 3 dub. Oh man, I want to give it a 4. That's a 3. That's a 3 and a dub. That's a... Ooh, starting off early. Probably not going to spend too long on the triggers this time, because it makes my videos super long, and I'm trying to be more descriptive on the teams. At week 2 at home versus Denver, I'm going to give it a 2, and I'm going to give them a dub. Right? Oh, yeah, I'm going to give them a dub. That's fine. Alright, Arizona, I'm going to give them 2 and a loss. Oh, week 4 at Cincinnati, I'm going to give them a 2 and a win. 5 at home versus Tennessee. I'm going to give them a 2 and a loss. I think Tennessee's, I think Tennessee's, what's it called? Offense is going to go through their defense just as well as Jacksonville's offense is going to go through the Tennessee's defense. But I think Tennessee's defense is going to get more stops than Jacksonville's is. Week 6 at home versus Miami. I'm going to give them a 2 and a loss. I think Miami's defense is going to be good. If they miraculously still have Xavier Howard, I'd give Jacksonville a 1 in this instance. Oh, I found something. Hold on. Week 7's a bye. Week 8 at Seattle. I'm gonna give them a 2 and a loss. Week 9 at home versus Buffalo. I'm gonna give them a 1. I'm gonna give them 1. Alrighty. Week 10 at Indianapolis. I'm going to give them a 2 because I feel like Carson Wentz is going to be back at this point, and Quentin Nelson. But I'm going to give them a dub. Sounds good. At week 11 at home versus San Francisco, I'm gonna give them a 2 and a loss. Yeah, 2 and a loss. Week 12 at home versus Atlanta, I'm going to give them a 2 and a loss. I think Atlanta's offense is going to go through Jacksonville's defense. I think Jacksonville's going to keep up. But I feel like there's going to be more turnovers from Jacksonville than Atlanta. I don't know. I'm trusting my gut on that one. If you heard those pops, those were my hips. They be speaking facts because they don't lie. I'm so cringy. Week 13 at the Los Angeles Rams. I want to give them a 2. Yeah, I'm going to give them a 2 and a loss as well. Here I am getting so bothered by my hair that I literally drop what I'm working on. Okay. Week 14, Tennessee. At Tennessee, I'm going to give them a 2. I almost gave them 1, but I'm going to give them 2 and a loss. At home versus the Texans, I'm going to give them a 4 and a W. because I think Houston, of course, is going to be falling apart and is going to be a wreck. So why would they try to win games late in the year when they could just tank and get the first overall pick? That's 4 weeks out from the end of the year. You know you're out of playoff contention by a mile at that point. You're contending for the first overall pick. Might as well get it. Jacksonville did it. Look where they are. Beating your ass. That's where Houston. Week 16 at the New York Jets. Rookie quarterback on rookie quarterback. I'm gonna. Oh man. I'm gonna give him a 3. I'm gonna give him a 3. Week 17 at New England. I'm gonna give them a 1 and a loss. Week 18 at home versus Indy. I'm gonna give them a 3 and a W. Oh, I forgot to do this. I'm sorry. I'm so silly sometimes. Alright, at week 18 at Indianapolis, I'm gonna give them a 3 and W. Alright. Again. That's really funny. They got a 37, which is by no means bad, because I gave Baltimore a 41. In Baltimore, I have them going 13-4. There's a 6-point difference between the two of them, and I have the 6-point difference between the two of them, and I have the Jags winning 7 games, and 7 and 10. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. I have them winning 7 out of 7 games, losing 10. However, there are 11 of their 17 games are it might have been flips, so it's between the two of them. You know, like it could toss up, so it could go either way. I could easily see them being 10-7. I also see them being 11-6. I could also see them being 5 and 12 if they just get like really unlucky with injuries or just unlucky period. That's my prediction for Jacksonville. 37 points in my system, and a 7 out of 10 record. 7 and 10 record, not out of 10. All right. Moving on to the Colts. I don't know why I just sound like I was dying. I apologize for that. I really sound like I was just that was my death rattle essentially. The Indianapolis Colts. Well, they essentially are going through their death rattle currently, so I guess that makes sense. I'll do it again. Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz is out. Quentin Nelson's out. That's like the two most important parts of their offense. Jonathan Taylor's still there. Naheem Hines is still there. Pittman's still there. Like they have receivers that are budding, but they don't have anyone to throw it right now. Ali Cox, is that who's is that the tight end? He's big. They just don't have anyone to throw right now. Slough, I think the quarterback name is. They're probably going to rely heavily on the run game, and since they don't have the best guard, they can't do it as well as they normally would. They could probably almost get away with it normally without Quentin Nelson. Sheesh, I guess. Defense, I guess it got better. I think they brought Xavier Rhodes back. Is that right? I think that's right. Kwity Paye, they drafted him. Is it Eric Armstead? I think he's the defensive tackle they have already there. I'm fairly certain that's the one. Wait, no, hold on. It's Armstead or the other Oregon defensive tackle. I want to look this up, but I can't. Hold on, let me think. It's going to pop to me later. I'm not going to focus on this right now. It's taking too long. Safeties, they got a guy who outperformed Malik Hooker, which is why Malik Hooker was a free agent. So the safeties are fine. The corners look good if Xavier Rhodes can lock down that can be good again. Darius Leonard's good. They got another guy they drafted who so far I guess when he so far has looked good. Everyone so far has looked good, but apparently he's had good reviews. Whatever that means. Things look good for the Colts if they had Quentin Nelson, and they look decent with Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson. With neither, the ship has sprung a leak. Unless Reich can do something phenomenal, I don't see it. Reich being the head coach of the Colts. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to remember that defensive tackle's name right now. Yeah, it's gone. It'll come back later. If I remember, I do. If I don't, whatever. This is not going to be very Indianapolis positive. We're gonna fly through this one, to be honest with you. At home versus Seattle, I'm gonna give it a 1, an L. At home versus the Los Angeles Rams, I'm gonna give them a 1 and an L. I think I heard Darius Leonard also had something. Nothing like long term, but like something. Week 3 at Tennessee, I'm gonna give them a 1 and an L. Week 4 at Miami, I'm gonna give them a 2 and an L. Week 5 at Baltimore, I'd say 1 and a very large L. Ooh, a week 6 at home versus Houston. I'm gonna give this one a 3. And a W. Week 7 at San Francisco. It's a 1 and an L. Week 8 versus Tennessee. That's a 2 and an L. Well, that's the wrong triggered. Week 9 at home versus the Jets. And we're going to give it a 2 and a dub. Just because I don't think they're going to give any dubs, and I also think this is when Carson Wentz and or Quentin Nelson comes back. I might be wrong, though. Week 10 at home versus the Jacksonville. Again, we're going to give it a 2 and an L. Hey, at least they're not all 1s anymore, right? Psych. This one's definitely a... Actually, it's a 0. it's a 0 is what it is. Do I give him a 0 for putting this? Like, I can't do that. It's a 0 if it's early in the season. It's a 0 if it's early in the season. I almost retroactively made it a 0, but on a different game. I'm not gonna do it this time. I like 1 where I'm at there. I'm gonna give it a 1 here. At Buffalo, I almost gave it a 0, but I'm assuming Quentin Nelson or Carson Wentz, hopefully both, are back by this time. If neither are back, it's a humongous 0. But time being, it's a 1 and a loss. Week 12 at home versus Tampa Bay. I'm gonna give him a 2 and a loss. I almost gave him 1, but I'm gonna give him a 2. Week 13 at Houston. Two and a loss. Houston's got to win at some point, right? They can't go 1-16, can they? They totally can. Week 14's a bye. Week 15 at home versus New England. I'm going to give them a 2 and a loss. Oh. 4-E. Week 16 at Arizona. I'm gonna give him a 2 and a win. I don't know why, but my gut is just telling me to do that. So I'm gonna listen to it. Probably wrong, but I'm gonna listen to it. 2 and a win. At home versus the Raiders. The Raiders. The Raiders. I'm gonna give him a 2 and a win. No, I lied. 2 and a loss. 2 and a loss. Jacksonville. I'm gonna give him a 1 and a loss. Alright. $28 points. 28 points for the Colts. I am predicting a 3-14 record for the Colts. I could see 1 and 16. I could see 7 and 10. Don't see a winning season here. Sorry, Indy. Moving on to Tennessee. Like Julio Jones, moving on to Tennessee. Tennessee, their offensive line is good. Their receivers they have 2 top 10 receivers now. Two top 10, 15. Let's be. I don't want to get into it, and I want to be correct. So I'm going to say 2 out of the top 15, in my opinion. So I don't want to have to think about the top 10 rated receivers right now, but top 15, he's 100% in there. A.J. Brown is, after them, they've got Josh Reynolds, so I guess he's an okay number 3. He was with the Rams last year. Tight end, they don't have Johnny Smith anymore, so I don't know who their tight ends are going to be. I also don't know who their offensive coordinator is going to be because he went to Atlanta to be the head coach. Brandon Tannehill should still be good. He could arguably be better. Derrick Henry is going to still be as good. But they're going to have to figure out the tight end situation because that was a big niche for them last year. Obviously, they're just going to rely, I think in my opinion, a lot on the running with 2 wide receiver sets. Running the ball with Derrick Henry, and then after they scoot up, which they inevitably will because it's Derrick Henry, they hit him deep with the play action. Julio worked in Atlanta for so long, so I'm sure they're going to want to use it there. Defensively, Kevin Byard's still monster. What's his name? Harold Landry, I think, is still there on the edge. He's okay. Who else is on the edge? Not the edge. Yeah, the edge. They signed another edge guy. I can't remember his name. It's upsetting right now. The middle linebacker, not Davis. Evans? I think it's Evans. I can't quite remember. I think it's Evans. He's okay. The defensive line is pretty okay. Jeffrey Simmons, I do believe he is there. Good, very good. Corners, think they just let Adoree Jackson go. They just, 98% sure they just drafted Kyle Fuller, not Kyle Fuller. My mind is Caleb Farley. My brain is short circuited. Caleb Farley. He's speedy as all heck, but I don't know if he'll be ready to go. Defense is a big question mark. Offense is a big exclamation point with the Titans. That's a really good way to put that. I haven't thought about that before. All right, Week 1 versus Arizona. I'm gonna go ahead and give that I'm gonna give him a 3. It's barely a 3, but it's a 3. It's almost 2, but. Week 2 at Seattle, that's a 2. And honestly, I'm going to give him an L. I'm going to give him an L, just because I think Russell Wilson's probably going to pull some dramatic play out of his butt. Because, neither team has a defense, so. Or a whole defense, I should say. So it's a 2 and a loss for the Seattle. For the Tennessee Titans against the Seattle Seahawks. That was a lot. I apologize. Week 3 at home versus Indy. It's a 3 and a W, big dog. Week 4 at the New York Jets. I'm going to give them... I'm going to give it a 2 and a dub. I almost gave it a 3, but I'm going to give it a 2 and a dub. And do I think that the Arizona Cardinals are worse than the New York Jets? No. No, I do not. I just think the matchup's different. And also, the location's different. But whatever. I'm talking too much, I think. Week 5 at Jacksonville. 2 and a dub. From what I remember, Jackson's kind of been getting beat by Tennessee for a while. It's probably going to change next year, but I don't know. I got a feeling it's gonna maintain for a minute. Oh, at least for this year. Week 6 at home versus Buffalo. I'm gonna give it a 2 and a loss. Do I think that they have that good of a shot? Not really. I do it, but I don't think it's a 1. I think they have a fighting shot. Okay, more than a fighting shot. There we go. Week 7 at Kansas City. No, sorry, at home versus Kansas City. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna give it 1. Week 8 at Indianapolis. I'm gonna have 2 and a dub. I almost gave it a 3, but 2 and a dub. At the Los Angeles Rams, I'm gonna give them a 2. Or do I give him a W? W. Just because they have 2 alpha receivers, and the Rams only have 1 Jalen Ramsey. Week 10 at home versus New Orleans. I'm gonna give them a 3. This is for before, and this is for the 3. Week 11 at home versus Houston. You know what it do. Houston ain't gonna win a effing game on the road. I tell you what. Week 12 at New England. I'm going to give them a 2 and a loss. Wow, as much as I love Mike Vrabel and how much he missed Bill Belichick is he's going to show his Palpatine powers this year. He goes, oh, okay, I'm going to get a quarterback on a rookie contract and also Cam Newton on a cheap deal. So not spending that much money on a quarterback. Wow, I've been doing that for so long with Brady. I can build a whole team. Screw a quarterback, I just need a whole team. That's what he's saying to himself right now. I can with any quarterback. I'm going to prove Tom Brady is a system quarterback. That's what Bill Belichick is like. Is like having repeated to himself over the auditory system in his dark chamber where he watches film. Per Adam Schefter. Week 14 at home versus the Jaguars. I'm going to give them a 2 and a win. At Pittsburgh. Do I give him a 3 or 2? 3 or 2? 3 or 2? It's going to be 1. Okay, the fact that it's going to be a 1, I'm so sure I'm going to give it a 3. Week 16 versus San Francisco. 2 and a dub. Julio Jones dominates San Francisco. Just something that always is, and I think always will be. Same thing with Green Bay and Carolina. Those are Julio Jones's games. I just made the little semicolon thing twice. I need to go to sleep. Week 17 at home versus Miami. I'm going to give them a 2 and a dub. I almost gave them a 3, but I'm going to give 2 and a dub. Week 18 at Houston. Wow, I'm at like, actually, hold on, let me look at the before this one. Okay, I'm going to give it a 3 and a dub. I almost gave it a 4. I almost gave it a 4. And I can tell you why I didn't give it a 4. Because Tennessee's record at this current point, as compared to what I have the other teams doing, they would be in the lead for the division by a few games, by more than a few games. I almost had a heart attack. I thought I stopped recording for a second. plugging you up real fast. Where was I at? Oh, thank you, me, for reminding me of where I left off. Oh, no problem, me. I need to go to sleep. Tennessee should be in a spot to clinch the division at this point already. They might not have to win a game. They're probably not going to be fighting for the first seed, and they'll probably just take whatever seed, like 2 through 3 gets 2 through 4 gets you. I mean, maybe not. Depends on the situation with this, but there's a decent chance that they're not going to be fighting super hard to get into the playoffs at the week 18. So they're probably going to be playing a little light or rest some starters. They still probably might win. So that's why I give it a 3. But also they could legitimately be like playing for their actual like playoffs if the season doesn't go the way I think. So it could end up, and if they are playing to get into the playoffs at week 18 versus Houston, this becomes a 4. I think everyone knows that. All right. I have them going 12-5. Yes, 12-5. And I give them a 40. That's so crazy. I hate to do this again, but if you compare Tennessee's to Jacksonville's, Jacksonville I gave a 37. Well, they earned a 37 with my rubric, and at the 3-point difference between that and Tennessee's 40 points, which I have them going 12-5. That's just schedule unluckiness and unfortunateness. I don't know about unluckiness. Well, I get a little bit of both. A lot of things go into that. Luck being a huge one. All right, and here we are at the last team of the division, or potentially the last team in the NFL. The Houston Texans, the Houston train wreck. The Houston should have traded them away before the lawsuits came out. Texans. Running backs are old. Receivers aren't great. Brandon Cooks, I think, is back there. He's the best receiver. Nothing stellar. Who else did they just trade for? The Anthony Miller from Chicago. Nothing inspiring during his career there. It seems like they want to lose. With their first pick in the draft, which was in the 3rd round, they drafted David Mills, quarterback. Their best player, of my knowledge, is Laramie Tunsil, and he's their left tackle. Things don't look good for the Texans. This is gonna be worse than the Colts one. Bear with me. This is gonna be bad. Week 1 versus Jacksonville. I give it a 1 and a loss. At Cleveland, I'm going to give it a 0. Ooh, I need to find another trigger real fast. What should I say? I got one. It's Special Deluxe. You can sit and enjoy this thing. If it doesn't run, I can back up with the thing, to be honest. At home versus Carolina. I'm gonna give it a 2 and a loss. It's probably the highest rating I'm gonna give. At Buffalo, I'm gonna give it a 0. Oh, forgot. At home versus New England, I'm gonna give it a 1 and a loss. At Indy, I'm gonna give it a 2 and a loss. A 2 because, what's it called? To a 2 because Indianapolis will be still be missing Quentin Nelson at the time. You know, I see now that I gave Indianapolis a 3 chance to win that game. I'm gonna rescind that. Yep, I just adjusted the ratings and adjusted the overall number. Hate to do that, but I did it. At Arizona, it's a 1 and a loss. Home versus the Rams, it's a 1 and a loss. At Miami, that's a 1 and a loss. Bye week. Week 11 at Tennessee, that's a 1 and a loss. Whatever. Nah, it's a 0. I'll change it. It's a 0. I don't care. It's the Texans. At home versus the Jets, 2. 2 and a loss. At home versus Indianapolis, I'm gonna give them a 2 and a win. Even if Carson Wentz is here. At home versus Seattle, that's a 1 and a loss. At Jacksonville, I'm gonna give them 2. I'm gonna give them a 1. I don't care. A 1 and a loss. Actually, no, I'm gonna give them a 0. I think Jacksonville's gonna be that game. Week 16 at home versus the Los Angeles Chargers, I'm gonna give them a 1 and a loss. Week 17, I feel like they might be the Chargers. Who knows? At the San Francisco 49ers, it's a 1 and a loss. At home versus the Tennessee Titans, that's a 1 and a loss. Let's do some numbers. Give him a 17. They're into 17 in my rubric. They're into 17 in my rubric. Well, I guess it makes sense that I have them going 1-16. I could see 3 wins. I could see 4 at the most. Hold on, let me check. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 toss-up games for them. I could see 5 at them. 5 wins at the most for the season. That's if it goes really well. You know what? 7 wins if David Mills is a superstar. He's not. But I want him to be, because I think that'd be hilarious. Like, what if he plays them out of the first overall pick, so they can't draft his replacement, or they consider drafting the second best quarterback who would be his replacement, and what if he beat? I don't know. It's a whole can of worms. That'd be kind of funny. Let's go ahead and give the order for the AFC South. Thank you so much for watching, by the way. And last place, as you and everyone else who knows anything about the NFL would have guessed, in 4th place is the AFC South AFC South shitstorm Houston Texans, with a record of 1-16 and a score of 17, which is how many games they'll play. 1 point per game essentially is what they average. Oh my god. In 2nd place in the division is the Indianapolis Colts, the often injured, well, I don't know often, but the unfortunately injured Indianapolis Colts. It's truly unfortunate where they are right now. I have them going 3-14. I could see them going 7 wins. I could see them going like 9 if they really put it on near the end of the year. If they like do okay in the beginning. I just don't. 3-14 is my prediction for a reason. 27 points. 3rd in the division. Sorry, second in the division. When's the last time you heard the Jags were 2nd in the division? Last time I remember they were in the playoffs. I think they were 1st in the division. So, 2nd in the division, Jacksonville Jaguars with 37 points in my rubric. 7-10 record. I could see them getting 10 wins. To be honest, I could see them getting 11. But I have 7-10 as my prediction. And their 37 points was just 3 points short of tying the AFC South prediction champion, Tennessee Titans. 40 points is what they earned in my rubric, and I have them going 12-5. I could see them doing a little bit worse than that and still winning the division, to be honest. But 12-5 is my prediction. I could see them winning the division with like 11 wins, 10 wins. Congratulations, Houston Texans. Oh, sorry. Not congratulations, Houston Texans. It sucks, dog. Congratulations, Tennessee Titans. Thank you, everybody, for watching this. I need to go to bed. You were appreciated.